Hi, this is a cinematic camera movement test in Luma. Dream Machine 1.6 has been released and I'm a little behind the curve on this, but I thought I'd play around with it and see what kind of camera controls we could get. It's great fun. I've had some successes and some of it not so good, but I'm going to show you. I pushed this to its limits. As a filmmaker, there's a very specific shot I wanted to test out and see, could I get this? So first, the thing that you need to know that's very cool is when you go into the prompt box and you start to type the word camera, then a pop-up menu pops up, which gives you some basic camera movements. And along with them, a really, really helpful little video that shows you what move left means. And look, move right is moving right. You'd think it's obvious, but it's good to know what the tool thinks. Just to confirm that when it says move up, you could be thinking crane up. And so it's great that you've got this visual that says you can expect this kind of result when you select push in, for example, and pull out. There we go. So I tried some other camera movements as well. Let me show you what I've been up to and what I did. Firstly, for a video that I made about the love-hate relationship that writers have with their life as a writer, I made this video, and this shot I used a before and after photo. So the end photo and the before photo were working really, really well. But the one that I thought we'd try out, you see the prompt here. The camera slowly pulls out, the camera slowly pulls back from a young man sitting reading his iPad whilst the battle rages all around him. Even though it wasn't in the drop-down list, I've been trying things to see how much does it understand. So we got this, and there's no pulling out or pulling back. There is the transition from one shot to the other, and then it starts to slowly pull back. So there's some movement there. It's kind of got it. Then there was this shot here, which, well, this is more of a transformative shot, and I wanted to show you this because the transform is really, really working well. When you're doing transforming shots from one to the other, the trick is to get an opening shot and a closing shot that has at least one solid element that the AI can lock onto and say, okay, so that's the constant, because it does have a tendency to kind of cut and just do a hard cut. This worked well, and so did another shot that worked well by doing slowly and gently transforming. This girl here, the before and after shot, slowly and gently transforming again. And this one, I mean, a little funky with the arm, but I had lovely, lovely transformations and lovely end, beginning and end. And I had made sure that I had a similar looking girl in the before and after, and a similar looking pose with similar looking costume, and that gave the AI less guesswork. Anyway, that's to do with just the transformations. I thought I'd just throw that in there because that's something I've had a lot of success with. It's been really, really fun. Now, these were some shots I played around with for a test sequence some months ago. So this one, let me show you the before and after. I copied and pasted the exact same prompt from 3 months ago. So you'll see with this one, for example, the one 3 months ago, the keywords here is camera pans sideways. And you'll notice when 3 months ago it didn't pan sideways. It was a great shot. I used it. I really liked it, but it wasn't panning sideways. Well, now we're panning sideways. Now, it's difficult to know whether I would have got that eventually if I just kept re-rolling, because that can be the case. But today, you know, with the updated camera movements, this seems to have worked well. Another couple that worked well. Camera pans sideways again. The problem is that I actually... The first one 3 months ago, it didn't pan sideways, but I prefer that shot. The panning sideways worked well, but the shot wasn't a great one in the end. Similar results, actually, with a dynamic tracking shot. I wanted them running, so moving, and this one from 3 months ago, I actually prefer the one from 3 months ago, and this one hasn't improved. A dynamic tracking shot hasn't really given me more motion than I had 3 months ago when I tried it before they updated these new camera movements. Maybe I just need to use the ones that are in the drop-down list, and that's all. Maybe that's where I'm going wrong, and it's just getting a different result because I'm re-rolling. Similarly, this shot here was this worked well last time, and I thought, let's see if it's any different this time. Well, I actually prefer the one from 3 months ago. So again, the camera rotates gently. This is in the prompt. The camera rotates gently around and so it's still doing the gently rotating, but looks like there's spider's webs all over the London Eye. And now this one did work well. This one from 3 months ago, I wanted the camera to move forward through the traffic as the traffic drove towards you, so you were getting a double kind of and last time the camera just kind of followed the traffic and that was dynamic, but this time I'm actually getting it moving forwards through the traffic. So there's an improvement there. Was it because I re-rolled, or was it because it's got better with camera movement? I don't know. So moving on to something else I wanted to try. I thought I'd really put Luma's camera control through its paces, at least the cinematic camera control. From the perspective of a filmmaker, camera movement should have a purpose, a point to it. And one great shot is a reveal shot. And there's something that I tried with some friends a few years ago when I was running a test scene of a girl in a bar talking to a middle-aged businessman, and there was some shady deals going down. Anyway, I was introducing this character, and the way that I wanted to introduce the character was to start with her shoes, then move up to her hands, and then to see what was going on with her hair and slowly reveal her face. So often if you've got, particularly with gimbals, this is great for this. You can move around and you can you keep moving the camera, and without cutting you can slowly reveal new bits of information that will help to build more and more of a picture. So for this character, she had been the kind of girl who would wear sandals on the beach and all happy hippie, but she'd gone dark and she had started blackmailing businessmen. So this scene was very important. We started off with her shoes, and they were uncharacteristic shoes. They were killer heels, not really what her character used to be, but it was kind of showing that she's starting to go dark and she means business. And then the dress that isn't what she would normally be wearing, and then she picks up an earpiece and puts it in her ear, and then she starts with her focused, determined job where she kind of blackmails a businessman who's there. Anyway, this shot where the camera starts at her feet, moves around her body, even kind of moving around just to keep it dynamic motion, just to keep it interesting, moving up until you get to her face. In some way or another, I wanted to see if I could replicate that. Now, I didn't think I'd do it in one shot, so I thought, let's try breaking it down into several shots. So I went into Midjourney and I created these 4 shots, and this is what I wanted to start out with. So you've got the opening shot up here of the girl's feet, and I wanted her to be walking through the bar, and then the camera slowly pulls back and starts to reveal more of her as she's kind of, and then we start to slowly move around the girl until eventually we kind of get to a side profile. So my plan was to break this into 3 shots, where we'd start from this opening shot blending into this shot, and then this shot blending into that shot, and then that shot blending into this shot. Here's what happened. So here's the prompt. A normal speed. I wanted to get normal speed. I'm fed up of slow motion with AI video. I'm like, speed it up, come on. A normal speed tracking shot of a beautiful young woman walking elegantly through a crowded, busy skyscraper wine bar. The London nighttime cityscape can be seen through the large glass window. She walks past several people. So the tracking shot bit was the important bit. And this is what we ended up with. Feet all over the place, legs all over the place. Because the 2 shots had the same color scheme and lots of things were very, very similar, it was nice and easy to make it look consistent. It's just a shame that we can't get consistent legs and walking, but we're kind of at least sort of forcing it to end up in the right place and starting in the right place. So I carried on here, a normal speed tracking shot of a beautiful woman with blonde highlights, blah, 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 walking, begin to reveal her side profile. Here's what we ended up with. Starting off, then we've got 3 legs, then we've got wonky. So the bits in between are all over the place, but you do. And to be honest, I'm not sure whether I'm ending up in the right place because we've got the word tracking shot in there. I don't know if it's tracking anything, but at least it knows that the shot has to go from there to there. So there's probably more camera control because of the opening and closing shots being similar enough that the AI doesn't feel the need to hard cut between them. But it's I thought, let's see how we go when we start to finally pull it to the very end. And the start was okay, wobbly all over the place in between. The background is looking great. The people in the background are looking okay. It's just the poor girls just made of jelly. And I thought, well, we've got it that far. Still with a tracking shot. Let's see what happens if we extend the shot. So we've got the option down here to extend. I thought, well, let's give that a go. So extending it, I added in these words: the camera arcs around a beautiful young woman as she turns her head. By the way, this rotation thing, different tools use different words for it, and I think I've seen arc used here, so I tried that. The camera arcs around a beautiful young woman as she turns her head to look around a crowded modern skyscraper wine bar. I wanted it to kind of spin around and pan around and then reveal her face and have a Michael Bay shot, you know? Can we get a Michael Bay shot in here somewhere? Not yet. Well, here's what we ended up with. Starting off, same as usual. So we've got this far, From here, then what? Well, she's looking around, but then the camera kind of pulls back. So I thought, let's see if we can try a push in. Let's see if we can at least get that far. So we tried it again. Normal speed shot. The camera pushes in for a medium close-up of a blah, 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 turning her head to look around. Can we get there? Let's see. This one became this. Now remember, that's the original shot. From here, are we going to push in? 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 No, no pushing in. So it's like the most solid bits of these video clips came from the images that I'd uploaded. And that's great. That's definitely a something. So I thought, well, let's see if I just have text with no photos. The camera follows the girl, starting with a... This is where I was getting overly ambitious. The camera follows the girl, starting with a follow shot of her elegant black stiletto heels, and then the camera orbit round. By the way, I said orbit round because I just chose it from the list. So I thought, okay, when I start seeing camera, let's try and pick the ones on the menu. Orbit round her as she walks, and then the camera crane up her body to reveal her face, and then the camera continues to camera orbit right to reveal a close-up of her face as she turns her head to look around the busy crowded... Come off it. Trying far too much, and we ended up with... Now you've got the girl walking, you've got the camera kind of arcing around. There's something in there. It at least doesn't look as crazy as it could have done if it had tried to squeeze all those instructions. I think part of the problem is if you only got a few seconds, and if you try and squeeze too much into the shot, I mean, it's going to be it'd be an action shot. I didn't like the lighting in this either, so I forgot to prompt for the lighting. Let's see. So we had another go. And in fairness, it did a good job of at least trying to make sense of all this and saying, you can't put all of that in there. How about if I just give you this? And so the AI at least tried to give me something that had some resemblance of it. And in fairness, I think I was asking too much. One last shot, though. I forgot that I'd left the box ticked that says you've got this enhance prompt option up here. I thought, well, let's see what happens if I take the tick out of that. Well, we got a great shot of her shoes on the table. Just, it was like mannequin. There's no movement at all for the poor girl. Anyway, it didn't work. I was biting off more than I could chew. I think that the trick with this is to keep your expectations low and operate within the realms of this lovely little drop-down menu of move left, move right, move up, move down, push in, pull out. and I suspect if you were to keep it at that, you'd probably do okay.